See, this is the only thing about the jewel cases I don't like is trying to get the booklet back in there. You know what I mean? Because I sometimes bend the pages a little bit. I'm terrible with it. Welcome to Aftershock Reviews. I, again, am your humble host, Nic Rattlehead, here joined by my homeboy, Matt the Graph. How you doing, bruh?
I'm doing great, Nick.
You're doing... Why did you say it like that?
I don't know. I was trying to think of something cool and I couldn't.
Are you like trying to fish for a catchphrase?
I was trying to think of something. Fell flat real hard.
It's all right, because that's why we're going to keep doing it. And then you'll run across something, and it'll be like mad dope, bruh. You feel me? But I know y'all feel me. And y'all not here to hear us talk and ramble on like that. You're here for a review. So let me give you one. I am here today to give you a review of an album that came out early this year. And it has been neglected to be talked about the way that it should be talked about. And I just wanted to shine a little bit of light on it. And the name of the album is called Bestial Hymns of Perversion by A Feather and Bone. And it was released by Profound Lore Records earlier this year. And I tell you what, it is a grindcore, death metal, black and death, whatever you want to call it. Because there's hints of black metal in it, there's hints of grindcore, there's hints of death metal, but it's all put together in this just ghastly, putrid cauldron. And what bubbles forth is just an abomination of auditory goodness. I absolutely love it. The album was released on Profound Lore Records, and the band hails from Denver, Colorado.
Smoke weed every day.
So they're a three-piece. Now, I had to write the name of the band members down because I didn't want to mispronounce any of their names. So we have one. The bassist's name is Alvino Salcido. I hope I pronounced your name well. If I did, thank God. If I didn't, I'm sorry. The drummer's name is Preston Weipert. And the guitarist's name is Dave Grant. The last one was pretty easy. This is an album to me, like I said, has kind of fell beneath the cracks of a lot of the death metal releases that came out this year. But I don't think that that's a fair thing that happened, because I get that it's easy to get lost in the shuffle of a Tomb Mold or an Infernal Coil or an Outer Heaven or things of that nature. But this album is one of the most gruesome, putrid, vile auditory experiences I've had this year. Now, the album starts out with repulsive obscurity. And to put it in perspective, and the reason why I keep using words like vile, because the album starts out, kid you not, Matt, like you hear flies buzzing in your ear. Kid you not.
Really?
Like it sounds like it's little flies buzzing in your ear. So to me, it's almost like it's painting the picture of you're going through some type of weird jungle or deep into a forest or some swamp, right? And then all of a sudden, you're taken captive by some type of satanic cult. Not Crocodile Dundee. I'm willing to bet they have knives, like big honking knives. Because I'm telling you, man, you hear the flies buzzing in your ear while they hold a guitar note in the back. It's laced in fuzz, and then all of a sudden, the drums just come in ablaze. And if I can say one thing about this album is the percussion is the heart and soul of this album. Because a lot of the times, the songs take a Chelsea Wolfe approach where it takes a while for the songs to blossom into something different or something beautiful at the end. Well, I don't even know if you want to use beautiful to describe these songs. Something gross at the end. It's like weird insect pods, you know what I mean? And as the song progresses, you start to see like the mutation just start peeling its way through the different layers of the pod till it just starts buzzing around and flying away somewhere. It's gross. It's absolutely gross. Like I said before, the great thing is the percussion, because the percussion keeps you interested as the dual vocal assault, the death metal growls and the gargling shrieks play against each other. Especially when you start talking about songs like Lust for Torment or my personal favorite. The name of the song is called Mockery of the Ascension. Now, that's one of the most metal names I've ever heard a day in my life when you start talking about a song title. Mockery of the Ascension, what the heck? And it has the most vile breakdown of 2018. And I stand firmly on that. I challenge somebody to find a more vile breakdown than that. I bet you can't. I'll personally send you $1 if you find one that's more vile than that breakdown. Because like I said before, you hit with a flurry of drums, right? But the guitars aren't necessarily giving you a riff, but they're setting a tone, right? So they're holding notes. Notes are like swimming and bumping against each other. The bass is almost kind of like indistinguishable between, you know, the guitar and the percussion in the mix. So, which to some people can be a bad thing. To me, it's not necessarily terrible, just as long as I can feel some type of bottom, right? And then it kind of like drones a little bit, and it has like a little bit of noise, and then it goes into this sweet riff. Oh man, it's gnarly and rad as crap. And then it just goes into this head-smashing, neck-torturing breakdown that will have you humming that breakdown all the way till, like, I've hummed this breakdown to the grocery store. I've hummed this breakdown to church. I've hummed this breakdown to my mama's house. I've hummed this breakdown to see my girlfriend at the time. It's that catchy. But at the same time, it's so vile that you kind of feel dirty singing it, which makes it even better. So this is what I mean about this album. It's just like, not only am I getting great atmosphere, and I'm getting great tones, and it's setting a beautiful mood through the different ways that these guys utilize their guitar tones and their noise, and they start incorporating different things to paint an entire world for you, kind of like Infernal Choral does, but it's just way more slimy, and it's way more sludgy. It's evil. Like, this is a literally evil album. It goes from like Mockery of Deception into like the title track, Hymns of Perversion, which yet is still a flurry of blast beat drummings. I can't remember who the producer for this album is, but he does a magnificent, just magnificent job of incorporating these drums into the mix where, like, it literally, to me, they almost sound tribal. The percussion in this album almost sounds tribal. Like this satanic cult, as they're getting ready to sacrifice you to Beelzebub, they're playing like these old decrepit drums with, like, I don't know, bison skin drum heads. You know what I mean? And then they took like sticks and wrapped yarn at the end of the sticks, and then those are their mallets as they're like singing some type of incantation as they get ready to sacrifice you. It's crazy. When you go into Mockery of Deception, it's just a flurry of those drums and a wash of noise and an impenetrable wall of sound that happens on Mockery of Ascension. And then Pious Abnormality. Pious Abnormality has a good sense of groove, and it knows how to move from section to section of this track. So it'll move from one movement of the album where it seems a little bit more tribal, almost cultish, almost like a sacrifice is about to happen. And then it'll just move to the point where it's like a breakdown that has you just nodding your head, and it's plodding. It's slow. It's knuckle-draggingly slow. Painfully slow. Like you're getting ready for them to pierce you in your side as they sacrifice you. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. And the final track off of this album, called Throne of the Serpent. Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Yep, Throne of the Serpent. The great thing about this album is that it's 7 tracks long, 32 minutes long. That's it. So it never overstays its welcome. It gets in, there is no fat on these tracks. You don't necessarily find yourself waiting for the good part to hit, because everything is so well thought out about the placement of the instruments and the placement of the noise and the placement of the sound effects on this album, that it feels a little thematic at points, but it never loses you. It doesn't have time to lose you. Like I said, just 32 minutes long. With Throne of the Serpent, it's a grand, huge, hulking in to what is torture chamber of sound. And it fades back out to the buzzing flies. And then the whole album is over. To me, it's so good that when you repeat it over and over again, it just feels like, Matt, are you a Twilight Zone fan?
Not really.
You're not a Twilight Zone fan? Okay. Well, there's an episode of The Twilight Zone where this guy keeps dreaming of his own death, but he can never wake up. He goes before a judge, and the jury finds him guilty, and then what happens is he has to go to jail and wait his execution, then he goes to the chair, and then right as he's about to die, the whole dream starts all over again, and now he's back in the chair in front of the judge and in front of the jury. So he just has to keep reliving those just awful, torturous events over and over and over again. That's how this album is. but I don't mind it. It's just like literally you start from the flies and you go until you're like, to me, the listener is sacrificed at the end. And then the album repeats itself and you do it all over again. And so you can never really wake up. It flows so well together from track to track, whether it goes from, it fades out and then it comes back in with some snare shots, or it fades out and then it fades back in with some weird, just dissonant noise. Matt, this is a very well thought out album. This is a very well executed album. And it's almost criminal nobody ever talks about it. I have not seen anybody, aside from like maybe 2 other YouTube reviewers, even mention this album. And it's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. So the name of this album again, please check this out. It is called Bestial Hymns of Perversion by A Feather and Bone. It was released on Profound Lore Records this year, and you can still find copies of the CD. They had some tape releases that were sold out. I was so sad that I missed them. And then they had like 2 extra copies lying around, and they put them up on Bandcamp. Raced there to get them. Gone. I was so sad that I missed the cassette tapes for this album, because it would have been so gnarly to hear this on a poor quality cassette tape, to hear all this grossness on a cassette tape. That probably just would have been like the Cats. It would have been amazing. And don't laugh at me. And the vinyls are all sold out as well, which makes me sad. I need to find the vinyl release for this album somewhere. And please, please, please don't sleep on this album. Please, please, please. Also, some other shout outs if you're still trying to get your death metal or your black metal or your punk fix. There was a band that released an album today, November 16th. Funeral Chic. Let's go with that. Funeral Chic. And the name of the album is called Superstition. You can also listen to Church Burns' None Shall Live, The Hymns of Misery. Yeah, I'm guessing like hymns is an overarching theme for like a lot of albums this year, but I don't care. So check those out. This is Nic Rattlehead saying thanks for watching. If you like the video, please hit subscribe and also hit the little bell as well for us, please, so you'll be notified every time we release a new video. I'm Nic Rattlehead. That's...
Oh, hey, I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt. Well, bye, Matt, since we're leaving now, though.
Oh, bye.
Bye.